So with these battery-powered planers, they're all pretty much like most of the standard electric corded planers. They've all got a one knife or a two knife cutter head. Most of these have a two knife head. The two Bosch machines have single knife heads. The others are all two knife. But in our testing here, they seem to be just as nice a cut without it. Just a little bit difference in maybe a little less draw on the motor, but they seem to work pretty well. They say they can, and they're replaceable knives. You don't resharpen; you just take them out and replace them.
Do these have the so when you replace these, are these just they set one way and one way only? Is there's no knife setting jig?
Yeah, some of them have a knife setting tool that comes with each of them. With each of them, and some of them are self-indexing, so they're a little bit of both in that. So they're not that difficult, even on the most difficult ones. It's really not. I mean, so.
And I know you were talking earlier about the tool. A lot of these machines, they come with a tool to either remove the knives, what have you. Some of them are hidden in the battery compartments, which is kind of unique.
Bosch does that really nice.
When you're looking for your tool, most of them are stored on board.
So this little 12-volt Bosch, the tool is right there. It's just a little hex wrench right inside there, so it's not going to get lost. It doesn't interfere with the battery. This one also comes with a little knife holder, so that you can have an extra knife to put in there. Slips right in. You never know it's there. The DeWalt has the same thing. It's got a little knife holding here. You pull this cap off, and then you can store a couple, slide them into there. Since this is a two knife, just a couple little slots there to put those in.
One thing we did notice that almost every one of these tools had the ability to have a flip down kickstand, which keeps the tool off the surface, so you're not damaging the knives when you put it down. And I believe this Bosch was the only one in the group here that didn't have that ability.
And a couple of them here, the Milwaukee and the Ridgid, have the kickstand that can be flipped back. They're spring loaded, so they kick out of the way when you're using them. But this one can also be slid over to the side. If you don't want it, you can disengage it and you can put it in there, and then it's not even a factor. So it's a handy little feature to have. It really doesn't get in the way, so it's a nice thing to have because it keeps you from accidentally setting it down while the cutter head is spinning. Set it down on your workbench or on your workpiece and accidentally gouge it. Although with these, the cutter heads stop almost instantly. So it's amazing how fast they stop.
Except for this one.
These all do run on an 18 volt or a 20 volt battery, except for this one is a 12 volt, so this is a smaller one, has a narrower cutting head.
One thing I noticed too, and because I have an older corded model of one of these, and it does have a dust collection port on it, but I'm seeing a lot of these that actually have two dust collection ports, which I think it's pretty cool that you can move the hose to one side or the other, because sometimes that thing could be in your way. I see that the ones that do have the ability to switch have a gate that you can switch back and forth.
Yeah, and it's not just for when you're using a hose. If let's say you're not using a hose and you're wanting to blow the debris away from you, so if you're working on this side and you don't want the stuff blowing in your face, you can direct it to blow off that way.
You can blow it towards somebody else.
Blow it onto somebody else.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Some of these just are single direction and they work really well. They all eject pretty well on their own, and with the vacuum they do really well. When you get into some of the larger ribbons of shavings, some of this where you're getting wider things, sometimes those want to plug up a little bit, but if you're going slow enough, they're going to be small shavings and you can get there.
We noticed that only a handful of these actually came with bags, but we quickly found out that this is not going to hold very many of those wood chips.
Yeah, they fill up really quickly, and then you're just one or two passes, and then you've got to stop and empty the bag. It's almost more of a nuisance to use the bag. The only time that would really come in handy is if you're trimming a door and you're inside or you're in a house or somewhere where you really want not to make the dust, then it helps to get it in there maybe. But otherwise, yeah, for the most part, they're not going to be much use to you.
We found one of the 8 that either requires some super special dust collection port, or
the Metabo HPT does not come with a port. It does not have a hose hookup on it. They may have one that attaches here in its place, but it just ejects nicely. I want to talk about the cutting depth too. You got the dial here, so most of these can go from about just a whisker of shaving up to about a 16th to a 5/64. So they're not taking a real deep bite. They're not made for that. They're made for multiple passes if you're doing if you need to take a lot. So they're just, you dial that in, get it set to where you want, and then make your repeated passes. They almost all have a dual trigger, so you've got a thumb safety and then your trigger, so that you can't accidentally pick this up, especially with the battery on there. You know, it's easy to forget that that thing's live when you pick it up. So you don't just pick it up, pull the trigger, and it's hot. You've got the safety switch to do that. So it's a good idea anytime you're doing any work on it, take the battery out, get that battery off there so you don't accidentally trigger it if you're working on the cutter head or cleaning it or anything. Just make sure you're not doing that so you don't accidentally get yourself hurt. Each of these has a V-groove on the bottom plate on the front, so you can run a chamfer on there. So you can put it on the edge of a board and let it set. It doesn't automatically just center itself at 45 if you're looking for that, so you just kind of have to kind of angle it and get a feel for it. And your depth of cut, if you were set for a 32nd of an inch here, is actually going to be deeper because the bottom of that V-groove where your board is resting, it's going to be cut quite a bit deeper, so almost a 1/4 of an inch in this case. But you're cutting so little material it won't matter, but just so you don't accidentally cut deeper than you want. So let's give it a try. So there we've got a nice chamfer about a 1/4 of an inch deep. So if I want to run another one, there you go. So you can just keep going until you've got the chamfer you like. If your angle's not quite right, you can just kind of center it again and just eyeball it. This isn't a precision chamfering tool, but it'll do enough to get you there, especially if you're just knocking off a little bit.
And I was just kind of digging through the boxes over there. Some of these did come with ability to hook up fence system. I know when you were cutting the chamfer on that, we were kind of talking about having to hold that at 45. Is that Bosch's?
This is the Milwaukee fence.
Milwaukee fence actually
Yeah,
has the ability, it looks like it, to actually set up and...
So with it, you'd mount it right here. It's got a bolt hole right there that you could just, so you thread that on, and it gives you a reference edge. So if you wanted to put that on,
this is a way for you to keep that 90 degrees from side to side there too.
so it just gives you, yeah, it's just like it would work on a jointer plane. It just helps you to keep that perfect 90-degree edge. And what's different with this one than most of them is that you can turn this one to a 45. And then if you wanted to extend this chamfer, then you could come down here and it's got it set up again, so it'll help you to do an accurate 45 right along there. So the fence, it comes with most of these. The ones that do not, I believe, have some as accessories, so they are available, but that's an extra nice little thing to come with it, and just another way to get some more accuracy out of it. A good use for one of these portable hand planers is to flatten a slab. If you're doing some kind of a natural edge slab, or in this case like a bowl blank if you're going to turn something, or I've got a piece of walnut here that I've chainsawed to get a slab out of about 3 inches thick, but I've got all these chainsaw marks and it's not flat. So what I use is this planer to get it pretty close to flat. So I've got a vacuum hooked up here because we're going to throw some shavings. So trying to get the high spots down, and I can get it pretty close. So I'm working across the grain, I can work with the grain. Doesn't really matter at this point. Just want to try to get that pretty flat. Obviously I got a big gouge there, so I would have a ways to go, but I can get a nice piece out of right here. So I'm try to get that flat. Keep working it until you get pretty close. You're never going to get it perfectly flat. So you start, once you get where you're close, you can dial down your cutting depth and get it to where you're just shaving, and then you can get rid of some of these higher spots and get it pretty close, and then come back over it with a sander.
So how deep were you cutting?
This was a 32nd of an inch that I was cutting there,
Okay.
trying to get it down, but then I would go down to maybe a 64th or even less and just keep shaving at that until I'm getting close, depending on what you're trying to do with it. This is no substitute for a good surface thickness planer, but this is a good way to just get rid of the chainsaw marks and get it pretty close to flat.
Well, and something like this where you can take the tool to the workpiece.
Yeah, in this case, this is a wet piece, so it needs to dry some more, but I could, if I'm gonna work with this, I'd turn a bowl blank, I can turn it green, but I don't mind that being wet. So in this case, I don't wanna run this through my planer and on my cast iron machines, but I can use this planer here to get it pretty close there. I could turn it, or I could, if I wanna save this as smaller pieces of lumber or something, I could then go and get it to where I could coat it and let it sit and finish drying.
So would you ever open that up to a 16th?
If this was fairly soft wood like pine or something where you probably don't want to do it in a hard dense wood, but in a softer wood you could. The problem with cutting too deep is you're cutting a much bigger shaving and it might plug up your vacuum. But if you're not vacuuming, yes, you could do that and throw it off to the side just to help the process go a little faster. But the problem with cutting deeper is then you run the risk of getting off balance again, getting it too deep in one spot. So just have to use your own judgment.
And it looks like over here you got a ways to go. You got to do all those.
I've got a lot of walnut bowl blanks here, so yeah. So give me a few days.